Kibbutz Metzar in the north of Israel has 950 acres of land and 300 herds of cattle. The 500 occupants make their living from milk production and producing pipes and cables for irrigation. Established in 1953, when the State of Israel was just 5 years old, Kibbutz Metzar is located right next to the Green Line, the 1949 Armistice Line. It is, if you like, the international border between Israel and the now fully reoccupied Palestinian West Bank. Across on the other side of the Green Line, on a mountaintop, is the Palestinian village of Kafin, with 9,000 inhabitants. For hundreds of years, their basic livelihood has been farming, mainly olive oil production. Their village land reaches the Green Line at the edge of the Kibbutz Metzar. Until recently, you had to look closely in order to see whether you were in Israel or on the Palestinian territory. Only a couple of border stones and a rickety fence indicate a place where two worlds meet. Israelis and Palestinians moved freely over the border. They worked together and had business with each other. An example of the peaceful coexistence the Middle East is so often lacking.
We had correct relations, correct neighborhood relations. In the Middle East, if you don't want to kill your neighbors, it's supposed to be a very good relation.
The mayor of Kafin confirms the good relationship.
Though the kibbutz is built on the land of Kafin, but still the people of Kafin live peacefully with the people of the kibbutz for the last probably 50 years. And many people in Kafin used to have good relations to the people in the kibbutz, and they used to work with them.
But the relationship changed dramatically one evening in November last year. A Palestinian armed with an automated Kalashnikov rifle crossed the Green Line and forced his way into the kibbutz. He randomly shot two people before he blew the door open to a house where a divorced mother was living with her two children, aged 4 and 5. Her ex-husband explains what happened.
I was at work. I received a phone call from my ex-wife, Rationale. It was about 11:15 at night. When I answered, all I heard was my children screaming, and then a loud noise, and then the call hung out. I immediately knew something bad happened. There was a friend of mine who was near me. I asked him to take me to Metzar. We arrived here at approximately midnight, when already on the way we heard on the radio that there was a terror attack in the kibbutz. The terrorist, after killing two people, one of them the kibbutz secretary, here on the road in the kibbutz, bursted in the house. He slammed the door, rushed into my children's bedroom, where their mother was already there. She held them, trying to protect them, and that is actually the way they found all three of them. While she was hugging them, he, with cold blood, shot 3 bullets, one in each of them, and killed all my family.
The terrorist killed 5 people before he escaped over the Green Line. He's still at large. Most people thought the killings pointless, but the kibbutz leader thought otherwise.
It was intended mainly against the moderate Palestinian leadership and their Israeli friends, so us and the Israeli left camp. And I think that's the reason, that they choose one of the symbols of potential coexistence, potential friendship, to say there is no such a thing. We're going to kill each other forever or until one of us prevails.
Today, that previous coexistence is destroyed. Kafin is isolated behind a new, heavily guarded security zone with a tall electric fence, which brings back memories of the Iron Curtain that once split Germany. Any attempt to pass the frontier would almost certainly be deadly. Death is lurking here too, for any Palestinians attempting to force the fence, whether it's terrorists or just the farmers from Kafin wanting to look after their land and olive fields. As the fence encroaches far into Palestinian territory, most of their land is now on the Israeli side of the fence.
It's our land, of course. Now, they promised that they are going to make a gate, but there is no evidence of having a gate.
But the gate may still come.
Well, I'm not sure. I'm not optimistic.
What's the consequence of you and the village losing the land?
Well, that was the last source of income that we ever had. The first, we used to, a large percentage of the people used to depend on working inside Israel because we are a border area. And whoever does not work there, he's having some olive trees. Now, since 2 years, nobody worked inside Israel. And when they made the wall, even the trees themselves, that large percentage also of the village having it as a second or first even source of income, we had lost that also.
That Kafin has been hit has nothing to do with the terror attack on Kibbutz Metzah. The attacker came from another part of the country, and the killings happened long after the Sharon government had decided to put up fences and walls in order to separate Israelis and Palestinians, and the work was already well underway. The decision was taken last year when the uprising against resistance and suicide bombings in Israel, as well as in the occupied territories. Officially, the project was started in order to put an end to the terror, which has killed more than 800 Israelis, while even more Palestinians have been killed by the Israeli forces.
I think, because you see when it was open, it was terror, it was Israeli. In Palestinian cities, it's not a normal situation. You know, my son is not going by bus. My wife is taking them from place to place. She don't want him to go by. I don't think it's normal. Maybe like the old sentence, the British sentence says, between two good neighbors there is a high fence. Or maybe a high fence will make it two good neighbors. This is not a border. This is only a security obstacle because, you know, minority make all the problems. And this minority now it will be very difficult to cross. And now they will be monitored, and maybe there will be less tens of war activities. So.
This was last summer's plan. First phase, 150 kilometers of alternating fence and wall from Salem in the north to Kfar Qassem in the south, more or less along the Green Line, but also mainly on Palestinian land. Second phase, another 200 kilometers. Price, $1.3 million per kilometer. The first phase of the construction finished a few weeks ago. Palestinians and Israelis are now completely separated by a concrete wall rising 8 meters from the ground, patrolled by guards and shooting towers with a security zone at least 40 meters wide and an electric fence 3 meters high. Roads on either side of the fence are only used by the patrolling Israeli military vehicles. The fence is one of the biggest and most expensive ever built in Israel. The first phase was completed in record time. The supervisor is proud.
Yes, because, you know, it's a huge engineering challenge. And we showed that in 11 months since decision of government, since approval of the pass in August last year, we succeeded, including design, including solving all statutory problems, and to do about 145 kilometers of mini autostrade. As you can see, it's about 50 meter wide mini autostrade in 11 months, including design, including statutory problem. I think it's a kind of a record. So this is why I'm proud. Why I'm not proud that we needed to do such a thing, and we didn't, because of this terror attack, we didn't succeed to fulfill what was the dream of Oslo.
Now the second and following phases are underway. Everything gives way for the bulldozers. Cactus, trees, olive groves and fertile soil that has provided food for Palestinian farmers for generations.
We didn't go over no wall in Israel. We captured the land according to the law. Anybody who wanted from Palestinians could go to Supreme Court or could appeal to us. Everything was done according to the law. We are compensating people. We offer compensation.